Welcome to Not Quite My Tempo with Chris. We just got the latest film from Christopher Nolan, The Odyssey. I've seen it twice, once in IMAX. I'm in a huge Christopher Nolan mood right now. I went back and rewatched some of his films over the last couple weeks, and today I'm going to share my ranking of all of his movies so far. The Odyssey is his 13th film. Let's get right into this. I will spoil some things here and there. At number 13, I'm going to go with Tenet. This is a wild idea from Christopher Nolan of time moving backwards and forwards at once, the whole world building of these people using time in different ways, these wars through time and trying to weaponize this technology, these operatives working to stop it. I love Inception, so hearing this new wild sci-fi idea from Nolan sounded great, but I've seen this movie twice now, and I could just not get into it or connect with it either time. I just find it way too convoluted and confusing. I never fully understood what was going on either time I watched the film. I love the idea on paper, especially Nolan tackling it, but I think it's too much for me. The cast is stellar: John David Washington, Robert Pattinson, Kenneth Branagh, and more. But this whole time war plot and the characters, I just never fully got absorbed into and really felt taken aback by this world building like I did with something like Inception, because I just found it too hard to understand. It's one I'll go back to again in the near future and see how I feel. I feel like repeat viewings could help this one, but both times I watched it I felt very distant from it. Still not a bad film. The action, score, the visuals of the time going forwards and backwards has some really cool moments and inventive stunts, but not one I can say I really enjoyed either time I watched it. At number 12, I'm going to go with Following. His first film he directed that was self-financed and made with some friends. I just rewatched this one a few days ago. I'd watched it for the first time a few years ago. It's good. Nolan's storytelling creativity and talent can be seen here, but the budget holds it back a bit, and the story and characters just aren't that interesting. There's this sort of crime noir plot here with this following idea and these robberies that get our lead into trouble here. The black and white photography and camera work brings some moodiness and atmosphere. The final twist and resolution really hits you and makes you feel how tricked our lead got and how much trouble he's in. That whole conspiracy. Maybe the characters and build-up make for a bit of a stale story, but it does bring the non-linear storytelling and details together to make for a smart twist ending. This movie just doesn't have anything I love about it. The limitations of the budget are very felt in the story, and also the execution of some moments, like when the characters are kind of scuffling. The staging is pretty phony, but as his first self-financed film, it's impressive and has a lot of talent in it. At number 11, I'm going to go with Insomnia. It's crazy that this one seems so low, because I like this movie a lot. It's just his filmography is so stacked. You got this small-town murder mystery story in Alaska, where the sun doesn't go down, Al Pacino and Robin Williams being the brilliant actors they are, leading this haunting crime story with secrets, the sun not going down, and the insomnia making you feel uneasy. This movie is the only movie in his filmography he didn't write. It's definitely his most forgotten film that people don't realize is a Christopher Nolan film. It doesn't feel like him at points just because there's not much specific to him, but it's also a very strong crime movie. The performances are excellent, there's a gripping story with this secret and this atmosphere. We're just dealing with Christopher Nolan here, so a good, more low-key crime movie like this is going to get overtaken in terms of ranking for me, but still a strong film early in his career. At number 10, I'm going to go with The Dark Knight Rises. This one is by far the weakest of the Dark Knight trilogy for me, but still a good film. It's long and epic. I do love the idea of the story being Bane holding Gotham hostage with this bomb, this city getting together to fight back, how much of a threat and menace he is. Tom Hardy's performance and look is awesome. The score is incredible here, this story of Batman coming back after being gone for so long, the consequences of the last film, the epic vibe of this story Nolan was going for absolutely lands here. That being said, there's very little Batman here. It takes him a long time to actually put the suit back on. It feels excessive to me how long it actually takes. Anne Hathaway as Catwoman is a great performance, but her side of the story always feels dull to me. And the finale and twist with Talia al Ghul and that whole execution of events is really lame and poorly executed. I'm very mixed on this movie. The epicness is there, the score in some of these moments are incredibly emotional, Batman finally making his return hits, the climbing sequence is breathtaking, and Bane as a threat in this hostage story is so massive and terrifying. It does a lot right, but I can't put it much higher than this, unfortunately. At number 9, I'm going to go with Dunkirk. This is another one of Nolan's films that I really like, but still falls very low on this ranking just because of the amount of films from him I love. The technical aspect of this film, the cinematography, the booming sound design, the setting of this beach, these vessels under attack, the air sequences with Tom Hardy. It's a fantastic war experience film from Nolan that gets held back for me because there's no real character here to get invested in. You have this important and often under-discussed part of the war of this evacuation of the beach. There's absolutely emotional impact of these young men being under so much pressure and attack and having to fight their way out to survive. But the actual characters here are really nothing, so it holds it back for me at not being great on a story level. But as an experience with recreating this event with the multiple timelines, different kinds of sequences and setbacks, it still feels very Nolan with how incredible the filmmaking is. I hope they do a re-release for it when it turns 10 next year so I can see it in theaters. At number 8, I'm going to go with Interstellar. This one has some amazing moments. The sequence where he sees the messages after so much time has went by is heartbreaking. This whole movie also has that epic vibe of being the space odyssey for the fate of humanity. I love space films, so this idea already has appeal to me. And these other planets they go to, Miller's planet being full of water, the sets of these ships and bringing this adventure to life is so impressive. You have the plot on Earth as well. There's a lot of space movie stuff in this that I love. It's also a father-daughter story that gets incredibly emotional. Matthew McConaughey is incredible here. Hans Zimmer's score can also not be brought up enough with this film. The atmosphere and emotion it brings is magnificent. And while the third act loses me a little bit, and the film feels a tad too long, the ending hits so hard at bringing this to a close with the payoff. Overall, I never loved this movie as much as I want to when I rewatch it. It's got a lot I love, but it never fully becomes a personal all-time favorite for me, or rises much higher on Nolan's ranking. I still think it's great though, and I need to go back to it more often. At number 7, I'm gonna go with The Prestige. This movie improved for me a lot on rewatch. I still liked it the first time, but this is a gripping story about this rivalry with two of the best performances in a Nolan film. Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman as these bitter, envious, nasty guys are fantastic. They bring this drive to take the other down, how much hatred forms between them, all taking place and structured around this idea of magic, deception, trickery. The twists are incredible here. The ending is mind-blowing. If you haven't seen the film, I would watch it before hearing any spoilers. It's a great experience of feeling the trickery of all this, but really getting into it as a story of these men that despise each other. There's classic non-linear storytelling from Nolan here that also keeps you guessing, helps with some of the reveals, sets up great mysteries. There is one element of a twist I don't love. It took me a bit to get fully into this one, but overall I love this movie now. It's also a little bit less talked about as a Nolan film. I wouldn't say as much as Insomnia, but it came out between Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, so it's a little overshadowed in terms of releases. But one of Nolan's best scripts, an amazing score, and production design as well, and this story is just magnificent. At number 6, I'm going to go with Memento, one of Nolan's earliest films, based on a short story written by his brother Jonathan Nolan, and it is a brilliant film. The concept is just spectacular, the short-term memory loss idea with this very much crime story, with these shady characters, Carrie-Anne Moss, Joe Pantoliano, and of course Guy Pearce as Leonard, who is tracking down his wife's killer. The structure and storytelling with the black and white versus color sequences, the backwards storytelling, the twists, and seeing all this come together not in order, but feeling like this whole web is coming together, and seeing what happened that led to all this. The memory loss structure makes the story disorienting in the best way possible. You feel like you're finding things out with the character in a lot of ways. The cast is excellent, the script, the way it uses dialogue, little details, throwing you off and making the reveals so impactful. This one is amazing to rewatch every so often. It's dark and very much not a casual watch, but I feel like every time I watch this movie, I appreciate new details and get more out of it. Such an impressive idea from Jonathan Nolan that Chris brought to the big screen so spectacularly. At number 5, I'm going to go with The Odyssey. Nolan's latest epic that you need to see on the best screen and speakers you have access to. The sequences of this film and the trials from the myth it's adapting, the Cyclops Cave, Circe, the Sirens, going to Hades, all of it is thrilling, massive. It can be terrifying, and all with an incredible Nolan script with sharp dialogue, compelling character dynamics, themes of consequences, values, Odysseus being this haunted character. The cast is absolutely stacked. Matt Damon, Anne Hathaway, Tom Holland, Robert Pattinson, and more. The cinematography and score brings so much to the atmosphere. The production design and bringing this mythical world to life is so beautiful and detailed. Every set is tremendous. The finale is also one of the best in Nolan's filmography. It's so shocking and satisfying. The Odyssey did not disappoint. You should absolutely go see it. I can totally see this going higher on this ranking someday as well. At number 4, I'm going to go with Batman Begins. I love Nolan's Batman trilogy, and I love this movie as the origin story film. The non-linear storytelling works so well at telling Bruce's story, from his upbringing, his training, becoming this symbol for the city that is going to take on the mob and organized crime. Christian Bale is an awesome Bruce Wayne and Batman. You get his playboy persona, and seeing him return to Gotham and take up this role is so compelling here. The supporting cast is great. I love the emphasis on realism here and making the idea of Batman seem possible. Liam Neeson is a cool villain. You get Cillian Murphy as Scarecrow playing a role in this whole conspiracy with the mob. This threat on Gotham City tackles ideas of redemption and the soul. Is it beyond saving? Batman needing to be the protector that makes sure the city has a chance to become better as Bruce steps into the role and deals with his legacy himself. Everything comes together so well here, with the non-linear stuff, the character dynamics and payoffs. It's a fantastic origin story film. At number 3, I'm going to go with Oppenheimer. This is one of Nolan's most impressive films. It tackles this fascinating story and character of Oppenheimer, the building of the nuclear bomb, exploring the consequences of his actions and how it affects him. The worldviews, dialogue, character dynamics are all tremendous here. It's a long film, but one that does such amazing things with the non-linear storytelling, the black and white sequences, the way it uses the bombs to explore these ideas. Cillian Murphy is incredible and absolutely deserved that Oscar. The supporting cast of Robert Downey Jr., Emily Blunt, and more round this out so well. The cinematography and score are sensational. There's so many incredible sequences here. The Trinity test, these Senate hearings and dialogue sequences where the characters are debating these ideas of what to do next, how the decisions they make here are going to affect mankind. It's a story that already sounded interesting to me, and Nolan took it to another level. The structure, pacing, dialogue, and performances, and all these technical elements are top notch here. This could be Nolan's best film in my opinion. Not quite my favorite, but it's outstanding and tackles such important ideas. That ending too is haunting and so powerful. At number 2, I'm going to go with The Dark Knight. Perhaps the greatest comic book movie of all time. I love how this builds off Batman Begins with the war on crime. You get the alliance between Batman, Harvey Dent, and Jim Gordon here. That cast, along with Maggie Gyllenhaal, are tremendous at working into this crime plot as they try to take down organized crime in a city where so few people can be trusted. This is one of the most engaging comic book movies for me. It's such an amazing crime movie as well. The amount of danger and corruption is terrifying, and much of that comes from Heath Ledger's iconic performance as the Joker, causing mayhem across Gotham and trying to bring the worst out of the city. Where everything goes in the third act, especially with Harvey Dent in this tragedy, it's incredible storytelling. There's gorgeous cinematography and Batman imagery here, a pulsing score. Gotham as a city feels so massive with the IMAX cameras and use of real cities. This is a movie that stands out in the genre as a brilliant crime movie, and has incredible character work and drama, real danger and stakes, and of course awesome Batman action. It's insane that this isn't number 1. My number 1 of Nolan's films though is Inception. This is on most days my favorite movie of all time. I absolutely love the world building and concept of the film, taking the corporate espionage and action genre with the sci-fi idea of going to dreams to steal and plant ideas. The cast here is stellar. This is one of my favorite Leonardo DiCaprio performances. The whole planning and execution of this plan as a sort of heist, going into the mind of Cillian Murphy's character and planting this idea, the rules of the dream world being established and coming into play here. The action here on this heist is awesome. There's car chases, shootouts, diversity in the levels of the dreams and the sets. The rotating hallway sequence is incredible. Hans Zimmer's score and the way it works across the layers of the dreams, the visuals of the physics of the dream world, the way camera technology and practical filmmaking is used. This is a movie I never get tired of. I appreciate going back to rewatch it so much and getting wrapped up in the heist and the world of dream thieves. I love this movie so much. There's so much brilliant storytelling, filmmaking, and creativity from Nolan here. It's so original and blends so much together brilliantly. It's my favorite of his films. That's going to be it for me today on Not Quite My Tempo with Chris. I'll be back on Saturday with a review for Motor City, but until then, enjoy.